us. We'll be back in a moment. This is Bloomberg.
This is what we got here with S&P. I want to teach all of our eToro enrollers how to get in and make money. So one of the best things to do right now is just go ahead and sign up with the link that I send you. If you don't have my link, make sure that you get my link and sign up quick. There's some things I've learned that we all should know how to do. So if you had to get in at 2:30, what's your options? Trading, and this is what happened. We also had big spikes. So each one of these spikes you see here, each box here is like $1, $1. So you can look over here and verify that for yourself. So if you got in here, it's $3.90 a share. So then it went up to $1 above, 2, 3, and it's still going. So this is what you have to do. And you have to do whatever you're going to do quick, because I'm going to show you how to do this. And once I show you this, you will never have to get into another program again as far as doing the stock market. So you can actually see it's still going. So you only have a few minutes that you'll see at the bottom. You only have a few minutes where this stock is going to close. But from this time here, about 2:15 to now, it is accelerating. So $1, $2, $3, $4 movement. We have different programs along with this one. We let you get into this one so you can actually understand what happens. And we have other stock platforms, which like Charles Schwab, we have Merrill Lynch, we also have E-Trade. So each one of these will be doing the same thing. And if you have 100 shares, this means $100, $200, $300, $400 already. So guys, we're going to show you how it goes. We're going to show you how to get in this thing to win it. I'm not in competition with anybody, because can't nobody teach me about what I'm teaching. And I guarantee you that the main thing is keeping from losing money in the stock market. So I'll probably get in here just before it closes, just before 3 o'clock, and I go ahead and receive my profit. I'll shut it down, because it shuts down at 3 o'clock, and then I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow morning. So I go ahead and take profits today. That's the other thing we do. We always go in to take profits. Okay, here's the Bloomberg coming back on again. We're talking about
This is
S&P.
the countdown to the close. I'm Romaine Bostic.
And I'm Katie Greifeld.
10 minutes until we get to the closing bell. Stocks continue to oscillate here on this Thursday afternoon. We had a pretty strong rally earlier in the day that faded a little bit for the Russell, which is in the red. The S&P now only up about 0.5%. The NASDAQ, though, trying to hold on to its gains. It was up 2% on the day, now up by about 1.5% here. Bank stocks remain on the back foot on this day here. Has some interesting individual stories to keep an eye on here, as a lot of people focus on what's going on with PacWest, with Coinbase, and of course, Katie Greifeld. $1 billion coming out of Apple to get you back in the theater.
Yeah, good luck. I like my couch.
Mona Mahajan joining us right now, senior investment strategist over at Edward Jones. Edward Jones has about $1.6 trillion in assets under management. One thing I didn't mention here, Mona, is the insane volatility that we continue to see in the Treasury market right now. 15 basis points lower on a 2-year yield. And I feel like every day that I come on this program, we're looking at moves in the yield space of 10, 20 basis points or more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great call out, Romaine. Look, we've seen in the last month or so a bit of a flight to safety trade, and that's happened in equity markets as we've seen more investors flock towards not only your traditional defensives like the consumer staples and healthcare part of the market, but also kind of your growth, quality growth parts of technology and comm services as well. But as you noted, in the bond space, it's really played out with investors flocking towards treasuries, 10-year and 2-year, pushing yields downward. But of course, part of that move also comes as investor expectation and market expectations of Fed rate hikes moving forward have tempered as well. So we're looking at now maybe not even one additional rate hike ahead for the Fed. And of course, markets are starting to price in rate cuts as early as the July meeting, and so that has really weighed on Treasury yields as well. So we're, really went from a 5% plus environment just a couple of weeks ago to a sub 4% environment, as you noted.
And then, of course, the differential between the short end and the longer end means that we have an inversion. Particularly, let's just take
I only have a couple of minutes and I will be set.
Which was negative 1%. What I don't know, it was at the start of this month, I believe, and now we're something around 40, 41 with the minus sign in front of it. That would suggest a steepening. That would suggest what?
Yeah, interestingly, historically, when the yield curve starts to steepen like this, off a very negative base, over the past 30 years, what that has indicated is the Fed is about to pause its rate hiking cycle. And of course, that aligns to what we heard from Jerome Powell and team yesterday to some extent. They did show in their new set of economic projections that 5.1% holds as their peak terminal rate. For now, at least, that would imply maybe one more rate hike. And they also, of course, softened their language yesterday, saying sort of ongoing, perhaps some additional tightening may be necessary. And so I do think all stars are aligning towards perhaps a Fed that is towards the end of its rate hiking cycle. The steepening of the yield curve certainly kind of alludes to that as well.
And when we talk about the path forward for the Fed, at least when it comes to rate hikes, it feels like we talk about it as if they're going to hike and then they're going to pause, and then the next move after the pause is a cut. But given the uncertainty there is right now, particularly around what's happening in the banking system, how possible is it that we see a sort of stop and pause and go again sort of rate hiking cycle?
Yeah, I think that's a great question and a great point, because it does talk to the uncertainty of how the different scenarios play out. And it was interesting to hear even Jerome Powell yesterday say that while there is heightened uncertainty in the regional banking system now, it's very recent and it could fade over time, and it could fade perhaps rapidly. If that does happen and we're back to talking about a very tight labor market, wage growth that continues to remain elevated, the Fed's job is not yet done. But what I will say is that what also came out of yesterday's meeting was that Jerome Powell noted that some of the recent tightening we've seen, credit conditions tightening, that also does act in some ways as
we'll also invite you into our
interesting to hear
Bloomberg
him equate the credit tightening with rate hikes as well. So I do think
Trading
that some of the
club,
Fed's
so
job is
stay tuned,
for it
guys.
as we're kind of seeing this banking crisis play out. Now, if this continues for an extended period of time, perhaps the silver lining on the whole regional banking crisis will be that some of the more stickier parts of inflation, including, that services, wage inflation, will moderate over time as well. So depending on which direction the banking crisis plays out, I think you'll get your answer as to whether or not we're at a pause and a cut, or
This
a
is where we
pause
make
and
our
an
money right
acceleration.
here.
Well, you brought up what I thought was the most interesting part of Jerome Powell's speech yesterday,
Goodbye
which
for now.